Welcome to your practice. My name is Sandra. This is a prenatal class designed for the more experienced yogini, which doesn't mean that it's gonna be really advanced what we are gonna do, but still you wanna be familiar with the basic postures. You wanna feel fit and healthy and simply be up for a little bit more vigorous work today. What we're gonna need is 2 blocks or something of similar shape. Pillows can be nice to use during Shavasana, and a blanket, I'm sitting on a folded blanket, can be nice to sit upon to pad your knees or to cover yourself in the end of the class. So make sure you gather your equipment before we get started. And we want to be seated, cross-legged. You need to raise your seat a little bit higher if your knees are above the hips. Make sure you can upright the lower back, draping the shoulders away from your ears. And we begin the class simple by making circles with our spine. Drawing circles with the spine in the air as if you would stir the air with your spine, rounding the back a little bit as you move back, maybe pulling back on the knees, and then lift and broaden the chest as you move to the front. But really there are no fixed rules, so you just want to be playful and let this be very personal, your personal dance. Changing direction, so the same thing, a few rounds to the other side. Before you come slowly all the way back to center from where the spine is growing tall. Shoulders relaxing. And have your hands just draped down, your arms just draped down, fingertips rest on the floor. Now as you inhale next time, circle your wrists slowly out to the sides and above your head. And as you exhale, circle your wrists the opposite way and close your eyes on the way down until you rest your hands on your knees or on your thighs, taking a moment here to turn inward, where you can place one hand on your belly and the other on your heart. Taking a moment to quietly invite your baby to join today's practice. And feeling the breath distributing into both of your hands. So creating both space around your heart, but also guiding the breath a little bit deeper into the abdomen, where your baby is floating happily. And then have your hands rest again on your legs. Opening your eyes again. From where you lean a little bit back and place your feet in front of you on the floor. So I'm going to remove what I sit upon, but it really is your choice. Place your right ankle on top of your left knee. Move your fingertips maybe back and lift the heart. Depending on how big the belly is, the foot needs to move a little bit further away from the sit bone. Now flex your right foot, spread the toes, and as your hands push down, roll to the tops of your sit bones. So you re-articulate your lumbar curve to get a little bit more into your hip rotator muscle. And then bring the outside of your left thigh, left shin, calf onto the floor. Ankle to knee pose. So your left calf should be parallel with, probably it's your front edge of the yoga mat. Be sure of that. So your left ankle is underneath the knee, and your right ankle on top of the left knee. If this is not available, then bring the ankle in front of the knee. Ankle to knee pose. And then from here, again, we make tiny, a little bit smaller circles, spinal circles. Circling the spine. And then as we do that, And obviously as we move to the front, we get a little bit more precisely into that stuff here. Finding an appropriate edge. And then circle the other way a few rounds. Before you come back to center, now swing your right foot back and move the heel close towards the sit bone. Hold the foot, the top of the foot with your right hand, and the left heel draws a bit more in. Maybe you open the inner thighs a little bit wider, away from one another. Now roll the right hip point forward. It's a sort of tiny spinal twist where the chest aligns more with the left knee now. And your foot, your right hand holds the back foot, and the foot is gently pressing into the hand. They're resisting one another. At the same time, you roll that right hip point forward, so the right sit bone floats away from the floor. That probably gives you a little bit of an opening in here as well, in your right hip flexor. Either stay or lean back, place your fingertips onto the floor, lift your heart and float your sit bones away from the floor. Gently arching your spine back, where there's no need to throw the head back. You can just simply gaze up or even to the front. And then lower slowly all the way down again. Swing both legs back to the front, changing sides. Left ankle goes on top of the right knee. Find an appropriate distance for that right foot away from the sit bone. And as your hands are pushing down behind you on the floor, you roll onto the tops, more to the tops of your sit bones. So we make sure that we're not curving the lower back. Also lift your heart. So spread the toes, pushing through the left heel. And then we take it a bit further from here. So we bring the outside of the right shin to the floor, parallel with the front edge of your yoga mat, ankle to knee pose. Uprighting the spine. And again, small circles. Well, just remember during the class today that during pregnancy we tend to be more prone to overstretching due to hormonal changes. And now, especially if you're used to a little bit more vigorous practice from before, let's change direction, circle the other way now. It can be difficult sometimes to let go of our previous abilities, but pregnancy really is the time to honor these big changes that are occurring in our body. And don't go to the very edge. So back off a little bit, going less deep into the stretches than we did before to prevent from overstretching. Come back to center, swing your left foot back. Left hand holds the top of the foot, the heel goes close to the sit bone, drawing the right heel a bit closer in and maybe separating your inner thighs more. Now you keep on holding that back foot, and against the resistance between hand and foot, you roll the left sit bone hip point forward, so the sit bone is away from the floor. Aligning the chest a little bit more with your right knee. It's a tiny spinal twist. As we primarily try to tax the left hip flexor here. Either stay where you are, this is a good place to be, or place your fingertips behind you and float the sit bones away from the floor, arching a little bit back. From where we come all the way back down to a seat, then swing your leg back to the front, from where you roll over your knees, and we meet in puppy pose, where the hips are above the knees and our arms reach far to the front with the forehead draping down. So your upper body copies downward facing dog. And puppy pose is a pose you can always come back to if down dog gets a little bit too strenuous. Well, child's pose the same, right? You can always rest in child's pose. Now reach through your arms, press your palms into the floor, And let your left shoulder now sink down a little bit to gaze underneath your right armpit. Maybe you need to have a look and need more visual here. Into a tiny spinal twist where your hips sway a little bit over to the right side. And now reach through your left fingertips a little bit even further to the front, pushing that left hand firmly down into the floor and dragging it back towards you without having it move. So you nicely open the lateral portion of your left shoulder. Breathe into it. And then come back to center. Let your right shoulder sink down. Feel your hips moving over to the left. So this gives the whole right side of your body a little bit more of an opening. And be sure you continue reaching through your right fingertips, pushing that hand down, dragging it back without having it move. Deep breathing here. And then come all the way back to center and sit back in child's pose, knees a bit wider than usual to accommodate the belly. Keep your arms reaching to the front, preparing for the body wave, which is a nice substitute for vinyasa since we can't spend time on the tummy anymore. So take a deep inhale here, and as you exhale, round your spine forward, come onto your hands and knees. And at the very top only, let your navel sink down, lift your heart on the inhale into this upward facing dog variation. Make sure your belly doesn't overstretch. It's already stretching a lot during pregnancy. So if you feel the sensation of overstretching, you need to draw the navel a bit in. The same goes for lower back pain, by the way. Now let's do 2 more of our waves. So as you exhale, sit back into child's pose. Take a deep inhale here. On your exhale, round the spine forward. Head is heavy. Navel draws a bit in. At the very top, lift and open your heart. Reverse the curvature of your spine. Exhale. Navel draws in. Sit it back. Once more. Inhale. On your exhale, propel your body forward. On the inhale, lift and open your heart. Push the floor away with your hands. And then from here, curl the toes under and come into down dog as you exhale. Some walking moves to begin with, bicycling the legs, where you can turn your rib cage from one side to the other, making this whole thing really juicy and massaging your back through movement. Before we come back to center, feet are a bit wider than usual, again to accommodate our belly. Knees can bend so you find more space to lengthen the lower back, especially in the beginning of the class where the hamstrings tend to still be a little bit on the tighter side. Now rock forward to plank pose. Inhale. Bring your knees to the floor, child's pose, just for one exhale. Tabletop position on your inhale. And step your right foot halfway out to the side so the toes point 90 degrees to the sides as you come to upright. Into a side bend to the right side. So reach your left arm across the room. Just turn around so you see me. Both arms are straight and your right arm is pushing against the inner thigh. Pushing that knee open as you keep lengthening the tail. And now lift that left shoulder a little bit higher towards the ear so you get a little bit more leverage and opening in the side body. Spiral the chest up. Before you lower your left hand down to the floor and reach your right leg back. The right toes point to the side and we have hand, knee and arch of the foot in one single line. Knee underneath the hip, hand exactly underneath the shoulder. Lengthen the tail a bit more and maybe reach your upper arm high or have the hand on the hip. If your arm is reaching, on your next exhale, reach your arm across the room and down towards the floor. As you inhale, lift again. Exhale into the full circle of your circumference of your shoulder joint. Inhale, lift again. Exhale, one more big circle. Now as you lift, inhale, maybe your right leg floats away from the floor, parallel to the floor, as a preparation for Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Now we're still on the knee. Later on we will be on our foot. So the body opens to the side, pushing through the heel. Can gaze to the side or even down if gazing up. Tense makes the neck feel tense. And now either stay or bring the foot back down, or bend your upper leg, hold the top of the foot, pull the foot towards your sacrum, towards your butt, and roll the right shoulder back as you imagine you would try to reach the wall behind you with the knee, lifting the knee maybe a little bit higher. Now gaze down, place your hand to the floor, and bring your right knee into pigeon pose. Reach your left leg far back, and you might not be able to lower all the way down without collapsing over to the right side. Make sure that your hips stay level with the floor. So that might mean you carry weight on your hands. And if you want to go further, all the weight is going to be carried by your right leg. So either stay or lift your arms. Reach a little bit more through your fingertips in this pretty active version of pigeon pose. Bring your hands back down to the floor, downward facing dog. Rolling the sit bones high again. Rock forward to plank pose on your inhale. Bring your knees to the floor, child's pose. Tabletop on your inhale. Step your left foot halfway to the sides, the toes point 90 degrees to the sides. Come to upright, into a side bend to the right. Both arms are straight. Push the left knee open. Lengthen the tail down. And reach the right shoulder a little bit higher towards the ear to get a little bit more leverage in the whole right side seam of your body. You're spiraling the chest a little bit up. And then place your right hand onto the floor, extending your left leg, aligning hand, knee, and arch of the foot, lengthening the tail a bit more, reaching through your fingertips, your left fingertips, if you don't want to keep the hand on the hip. On your exhale, reach your arm across the room and down. Inhale up again, full circle. Exhale, reach. Inhale, up. And again, reach. Exhale. Inhale, float your back foot away from the floor so you lift your arm again. Optional, of course, you can always bring or keep the foot on the floor. Reaching through the heel, lengthening through the tailbone, opening your body to the side, so you're stacking your hips on top of one another. Now bend your upper leg, hold the top of the foot, and bending your upper elbow, you pull the foot more closely towards your sit bone. You want to reach through the knee and maybe lift the knee a little bit higher. Before you gaze down, bring your left knee to your left wrist. Pigeon pose. Slide your right foot far back. Leg is far behind you. And the foot is in line with the right sit bone. Make sure you're not collapsing, leaning over to the left. Hips parallel with the floor. Maybe you're higher up here. Right? Now, if you can bear all the weight, carry all the weight with your left leg, reach through your arms. And if you feel a stretching sensation in the tummy or the lower back, a pinchy sensation in the lower back, then simply lean a little bit further forward. So honor these sensations and don't just fight against them. Place your hands onto the floor and transition back. Down dog. Having 2 or 3 more cycles of breath here. You're very welcome to release your exhale through your mouth. If things get more strenuous and difficult during birth, you're also not gonna
exhale through your nose anymore. So you can already practice on the mat the releasing sensation and manage intensity through exhaling completely through your mouth. As you inhale, rock forward to plank pose. You can rest in child's pose now. If you're up for a few mini chaturangas with the knees on the floor, follow me. So we're not going to do lots of abdominal work, but you need to support the lower back and gently hug the baby in. Right? So you draw the navel a tiny bit further up. And now keep all of this. As you exhale, bend at the elbows, keep your elbows harnessed in, maybe just a micro bend. Inhale, push up again. Exhale, bend. Inhale, push up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up and down and up. Last time down. From here, lift the heart in upward facing dog. Maybe you want to extend those legs. Roll the shoulders back. Lower the knees down. Child's pose. Sit back and have a moment where you might want to wiggle a tiny bit from one side to the other. Let your elbows rest heavily on the floor now. And then come to sit on your heels, rolling your spine up. Head is heavy, your hands just slide towards your knees and then up your thighs. Finally, your whole spine comes to upright. And then we come onto the knees, curl the toes under, into camel pose, where your hands go onto the sacrum, fingertips either up or down. Roll the shoulders back, make sure your heels point straight up and they're not splaying out to the sides. So you push the ball of your big toe down into the floor. Lengthen the tailbone, push your hands into your sacrum, which moves the pelvis a little bit forward in space, and lift your heart. If your knees need padding, acknowledge that. Roll the shoulders back, harness your elbows a bit in. Again, no need to throw your head back. Now come to upright. Place your hands onto the floor, lift the knees. Standing forward bend, where you open the feet wider so you have space for the belly. And let your upper body drape down, the knees can soften. Now as you inhale, come into half standing forward bend. Shoulders roll back, establish length. Exhale, lower down again. Push the feet down, lift your heart, sweep your arms out and up, come to standing. On the exhale, release your arms down by the sides of the body. Let's come all the way to the top of the yoga mat, where you have your blocks handy if you're using blocks. This is where you need them. Feet a bit wider than usual, parallel. For modified half sun salutation, and open your palms to the front. Sweep your arms out as you inhale, embrace the air. On your exhale, bring your hands to your sacrum. Roll the shoulders back, including your elbows, lift your heart. And then with a long spine, dive halfway down as you stroke your hands down the backs of your thighs, meeting in half standing forward bend, where I like to have my hands further in the front on blocks, because my belly feels a bit like being in the way. So it's your choice whether on which height you are. And I'm gonna go and skip completely full standing forward bend, because it doesn't feel nice on my tummy anymore. If this is still something that feels good to you, you can do it in between, right? Only so that you know that I skip that. So I come straight to half standing forward bend. Now bend at the knees, push the feet down, sweep your arms out and up, come to standing. Join the palms. We do 2 more of those, a bit flowier. Sweep your arms out and up. On your exhale, hands to your sacrum. Lift your heart as you inhale. On your exhale, massage down the backs of your thighs, meeting in our half standing forward bend for a breath or 2. Bend at the knees, push the feet down. You inhale, come to standing. Join the palms, exhale. Sweep your arms out and up. On your exhale, bring your hands to your sacrum again. Lift and open. Dive halfway down, massage down the backs of your thighs if that feels nice to you. Maybe the front of your thighs feel better. Make this be really personal. Now push the feet down, sweep your arms out and up as you inhale. Bring your palms together as you exhale. Now we continue from here, sweep your arms out and up. Bit more flowy, dive forward, halfway, stroking down the backs of your legs, half standing forward bend. Now from here, step your right foot back into a lunge, ground the back foot for warrior 2, and windmill your arms up. Remind yourself, we make this dance a little bit shorter than usual, especially if we have tearing sensation in the pubis, or the sacrum, then you need to make the stance definitely shorter. Flying warrior 2, lift your arms, straighten your front leg. Exhale, push the air down. Rebend the knee. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower down. Keep the back leg active. Lift, inhale. Push the air down. Inhale, lift. Gently push the air down. Now parallel your arms with the floor, front leg straightens. Ground the base of the big front toe. We are more prone to injury, overstretching the knee as well. So you want to make really sure that you ground the base of the front big toe to engage the calf muscle which supports the knee. Reach forward as you exhale and come down into triangle pose. Upper hand goes without saying, can always go to the hip. You can also gaze to the side or down. Make this practice be yours. Rebend the front knee, warrior number 2. Reach through your fingertips. A little bit more weight onto the back foot maybe. So you make sure that the front knee points straight to the front. Lower your arms down to your thighs as you exhale. And as you inhale, friendly warrior, lean a little bit back. Straighten your front leg only as you inhale. On your exhale, triangle pose again, reach forward. This time maybe your upper arm reaches across the room. And we bring the spine, other than usual, a little bit more in a rainbow shape. So we want to open the right side of our rib cage towards the sky. Inhale, warrior number 2. And now if you inhale next time, parallel your feet, lift your arms above the head. On your exhale, arms down, open your feet kind of 45 degrees to the sides. Bend the knees, goddess pose. Encouraging strength or building up strength in our thighs and our legs. They need to carry more weight, they need to be stronger. So from here, we're just wiggling a little bit from one side to the other. And this can be a very good time to release your exhale through your mouth again. To manage the growing sensation in your thighs. You're still trying to distribute your perception and awareness as equally as you can through your whole body. As we come back to center, on your inhale, push the feet down, parallel your feet again, one after the other. Hands to hips, lift your heart, and then drape forward. And you can bend your knees halfway, but keep your spine long, at least to begin with. So you place your hands onto the floor. And now from here, you probably need to have a look if you don't know what is coming. Some wiping moves. Moving our upper body and hands from one foot to the other. So one leg straightens and then the other. Getting in sort of very dynamic and dance-like way again into the inside of our legs. Imagine you want to wipe the floor. And then move all the way to the left foot. Turn all of your 10 toes back to the front. The back heel is lifting. And wiggle the left foot further to the side so your hands come underneath your shoulder. Lower the back knee down to the floor. Lengthen the toes, the right toes. Now you can stay as is. This is a nice place to be. Open the front toes a little bit to the side, 45 degrees actually. And the knee can flap open a little bit, so it can also be a nice sensation. If you want to tax the hip flexor a little bit more, then follow me, bend your back leg, and hold the top of that back foot with your left hand. Roll the left shoulder back. And even if you usually might lower the elbow down to the floor, maybe you want to reconsider that. Reminding yourself, overstretching can really be an issue and takes time to heal. I mean, just see what your body, as long as you stay, as you listen closely, you will be fine. Now release that back foot slowly. Left toes point to the front again. Back leg straightens. So we step it all the way back to the front, and I come straight into my half standing forward bend from here. Maybe you want to have a few moments in your full standing forward bend. Now from half standing forward bend, push the feet down, bend the knees a bit, sweep your arms out to the sides and up, come to standing. On your exhale, join the palms together. Continue, sweep your arms out and up. As you exhale, drop your upper body forward, massage your hands down the backs of your legs, meeting in our half standing forward bend again. From where you step your left foot back into a lunge, turn and ground the back foot 90 degrees and windmill your arms up into warrior two. Take a moment to adjust the stance. Spine is growing tall as you reach through your fingertips. Before you take your warrior two to fly, as you inhale, arms lift, straighten your front leg. Exhale, gently push the air down. Inhale, lift. Push it down on the exhale. Your back leg stays engaged. On your inhale, lift. On your exhale, push it down. Last time, lift your arms above your head. Inhale. Push the air down, exhale. Now as you inhale, arms parallel to the floor. Both legs stay straight. Ground the big front toe into the floor. And as you exhale, reach forward into your triangle pose. Now in prenatal yoga, we're not that interested anymore in triangle pose to lengthen the tail that much. But we might even allow the upper hip points, in this case the left, to draw a little bit down direction floor. As long you want to make sure, the thing you want to make sure is that there's no tight or tense sensation in your lower back and sacrum area at all. Now rebend the front knee, warrior two again. Reach through your fingertips. Have a moment here where we distribute the weight a little bit more equally on both feet. So allow the back foot to carry a little bit more weight as well, maybe. Relax the shoulders as you keep on reaching through your arms. Now as you exhale next time, place your hands on your thighs. As you inhale, reverse the warrior, lift your heart, friendly warrior. Reach through your upper fingertips. Next time you exhale, straighten your right leg only. On your inhale, reach forward again for your triangle pose. This time, your upper arm might want to reach across the room. Spiral your chest up. And remember this rainbow shape we've done on the other side. So you want to spread the ribs, the upper ribs wide open, and breathe deeply into it as you make sure that your right shoulder blade continues to travel down the back rib cage. From here, rebend your front knee. Warrior two. As you inhale next time, parallel your feet, lift your arms above the head. On your exhale, release your arms down and open your feet again 45 degrees or so to the side and just turn around so you see me better. Bend the knees and make sure that your knees now, they don't fall inward too much, but you keep your inner thighs pressing open so your knees point more or less in the same direction as your toes are. Shoulders relaxing away from the ears, and you can do the same thing as we've done on the other side, just wiggle a little bit. Or you reach your arms out to the sides, bend at your elbows, palms face the front and your elbows are on shoulder height. Now open as you inhale, move your elbows a bit back, lift your heart. Exhale, push the air together. Elbows move towards one another. Inhale, open up. Exhale, continue. Keep your elbows on shoulder height. Inhale, open. Exhale. 2 more of those. Inhale, open up. Push the air together. Exhale. Open up, inhale. Exhale, together. Now open your arms, straighten your legs. Parallel your feet again, one at a time. Lift your heart as you inhale, hands on the hips. And now drape forward on your exhale, out of your hip creases, so keep the spine elongated. And if you can't keep your legs straight now with your hands underneath the shoulders, then please use blocks. Have a moment here reaching the sit bones back and re-establishing this natural lumbar curve in your lower back. So your legs want to stay straight here. On your inhale, lengthen the spine even further if you can. And as you exhale, bring your right hand to the hip or reach your fingertips high into a spinal twist. And let your left hip, or your pelvis, join that twist by letting the left hip point roll down towards the floor. So that throws the stretch also a little bit more towards the inside of your left thigh. Come slowly back to center. Take an inhale here, re-establish length. You might have lost a little bit along the way. And with this, lengthen your spine open to your second side. Right hip point falls a little bit down, rolls a bit down towards the floor. You can gaze to the side if your neck feels tense, gazing up. And then come slowly back to center. Before, from here, you want to walk your hands to the right foot again, bending the right knee. I have to turn around again. And turn all of your 10 toes back to the front. Lower the back knee down, lengthen the back toe, and wiggle the front foot further to the side to make space for your hands underneath the shoulders. Front toes rotated 45 degrees, let the knee flap open. Again, this is a very nice place to be. If you want to work on opening your hip flexor a little bit more, follow me. Reach your right arm back and get hold of your back foot. Roll that right shoulder back. And let your right hip sink a little bit deeper towards the floor, rather than rolling the pelvis too far into a twist. You will see where this is going, but keep in mind we don't want to overstretch. Having another moment here. Before you slowly release. Turn your right toes to face the front again, back leg straightens. Step it to the front into your half standing forward bend. And then from here you want to bend the left knee only, the right leg stays straight, both feet stay grounded, and open into a twist to the right. Right hand goes to the hip if your shoulder girdle is too tight to reach your arm high and still feel spacious in between your collarbones. Keep both feet equally grounded, and if you can't reach the block or the floor without rounding the back, then acknowledge that and bring your elbow into the knee instead. Now hand goes to the hip, Shift your weight forward onto your left leg and come into Ardha Chandrasana. Pushing through your right heel, curling your right hip on top of the left hip. And if you feel stable, you can reach your right arm. Relax into your breathing. Now bend the standing leg, bring your upper hand back to the hip and see whether you can come and balance your way all the way to standing with your right knee on hip height. Open the knee to the side and come into tree pose. So here the foot either presses into the inner thigh, the inner calf, or you can also have the foot on the floor and have the heel just rest above the opposite ankle. But wherever you are, you want to make sure the knee opens to the side and draw that left hip point a little bit more in towards the midline. Open your palms to face the front. Feel the chest opening as the shoulder blades, like two warm hands, firm against your back ribs. From where you turn the knee to face the front again, unrushed, step it down again. Feet parallel. Sweep your arms out and up on your inhale. On your exhale, drape forward, massage your hands down your legs. Half standing forward bend is where we meet. Bend your right knee only. Lengthen your spine to begin with before you open to your second side, reaching your left fingertips either high or hand goes to the hip. Feet stay grounded, both of them equally. Bring your upper hand to the hip and transition your weight forward onto your right leg. Roll that left hip open into Ardha Chandrasana. Pushing through your left heel. If you feel stable, reach through your left arm. And for this whole sequence, we need some sort of core integrity. So as we now continue to transition to the next pose, gently engage the pelvic floor, so bring the hand to the hip, bend your standing leg and come all the way to upright. Left knee is on hip height. Hands on the hips. Now open the knee to the side and come into tree pose. Tree pose of your choice. Palms face the front, arms slightly angled away from your upper body. Pushing the sole of the foot into the standing leg and the standing leg into the sole of the foot as we draw the right hip point a little bit more precisely, maybe to the midline if you haven't already. Relax into your breathing and soften the gaze. Turn the knee to face the front slowly and then unrushed, unhurried, step it down. Feel the moment your body weight distributes equally between both feet again. As your feet then push down into the floor, the crown of your head reaches high, shoulders relaxed, arms draping down by the sides of your body. Sweep your arms out and up on your inhale. On your exhale, drape forward, massage your hands down your legs. Half standing forward bend again. Having one or two more cycles of breath here where you reach your sit bones back. Before you bend the knees, place your hands onto the floor and take a few steps back into your down dog from here. You can always come to child's pose or puppy pose, remember that. in dog, you want to push the hands down and forward, as you want to push the feet, the balls of your feet down and back. That also works with your knees bent. As if you wanted to give your yoga mat a stretch. In the middle, you reach the sit bones high towards the sky. Your head can just hang. Rock forward to plank pose on your inhale. Lower the knees to the floor. And then walk your hands back towards your knees and open the knees wider. In a variation of Sphinx pose. So again, we want to be very aware that we do not overstretch the pubic area. So if you feel any sensation, tearing sensation, you need to back off a little bit. Roll the shoulders back, pad your knees if they need padding, or turn sideways so both of your knees are on the mat. Lift your heart. And let's just rock a few times, a tiny bit forward, and see what this does to the pose and to your body being in this pose, and then back again. Tiny movement, just see how much space there is in your inner thighs. Before we come to a still place, working a little bit with pelvic floor engagement and relaxation. Engaging the pelvic floor is a bit like when you sit on the toilet and you stop peeing. So we do that as we inhale. So on the inhale, you gently engage the pelvic floor and feel this up-doming quality. And on the exhale, you let go again. So on the inhale, you engage. And on the exhale, you release. In your own rhythm. And you might feel maybe that as you engage the pelvic floor, your tailbone feels like tucking a little bit, right? Just a tiny bit. And if this happens, this is due to the fact that there is one layer of muscles of the pelvic floor that connects the pubis and the tailbone being oriented like so. And when this layer of muscle contracts, you might feel this tucking sensation of your tailbone. But let this just happen and observe. A few more rounds. Before you bring your knees slowly back to center, pushing your hands down, bring one knee after the other, back to center. We've been there for a while, so get there slowly. And we are now gonna take it further down to the floor. You wanna lie on the right side of your body to begin with. And lie pretty close to the edge of your mat. Pretty close to the edge of your mat. Your head can rest in your right hand. Left hand just in front of you on the floor, and your knees are bent. Stack your knees and feet on top of each other. Your knees are more or less in one line with the hips. Now from here we lift the upper leg a little bit and make sure we do not externally rotate at the hip. And then lower down again. On your inhale, lift your leg. And on the exhale, lower down. Let's just do that a few times in your own rhythm. Let's just do a few more here. In a moment we are gonna stretch the very same muscle we are engaging right now, groups of muscles. And then from here, just reach your left arm across the room so your left shoulder blade grounds. And your right shoulder blade is grounding as well in a sort of twist. Now place your left foot on the floor and get hold of that left foot with your right hand. So you probably feel where this is going right now. And you can play with the opening stretch a little bit by sticking your butt out a little bit more. So re-encouraging your lumbar curve. And also play with it by with the positioning of your knee, where that points a little bit higher up or more towards the floor. It's really, you really need to be playful here. Again, there are no fixed rules. Now find a place that feels yummy and not too overwhelming. Guiding your breath a little bit more precisely into those places that try to attract all of your attention right now. Before we come slowly out of here, rolling all the way over to the second side. I'm gonna move to the other side of the mat. You probably don't have to do that. And you wanna lie close to the edge again. So, because as you're soon gonna be in a twist, and you wanna then make sure that you're still lying on your yoga mat. Bend the knees again, find a comfortable position for your head. And then as you inhale, lift your upper leg. Make sure we do not externally rotate at the hip, and then as you exhale, lower down. On the inhale, we lift, and we lower down on the exhale. In your own pace. Let's do 2 or 3 more of those. Before we open to the right side and reach the right arm across the room into a twist, taking the right foot onto the floor and holding that foot with the left hand. Now make sure that both of your shoulder blades are grounding down into the floor. So this is a very gentle spinal twist, but the true focus, as you will feel, is on the hips really. And also we're not lying on our back, so there shouldn't be any compression on your vena cava. Also suppose that you won't be very late in pregnancy if you're still doing this practice. But whenever you feel uncomfortable in any pose, of course you change something about it and get out of there or make it more mellow. Now find a place that is interesting yet not overwhelming. And find your breath again as a sort of, or use your breath as a sort of tool to manage the sensation. deep, smooth cycles of breath. Imagine you had nostrils in those tight areas and guide the last few cycles of breath deep into those places. And again, you're more than welcome to release your exhale through your mouth. And then from here, it's time for Shavasana. So you already lie on your left side. Just come all the way back, lying on your left. And I recommend you use some of your pillows to bring between your inner thighs and your inner and your shins, your calves. Preferably your upper foot shouldn't just be hanging. And maybe you use a pillow for your head. Find a real comfortable place now. Maybe take a moment to really make yourself comfortable. Allowing gravity to get hold of you. And your bones to rest. Your muscles hugging the bones to rest. And your mind hugging your thoughts to rest. And slowly begin to deepen your breathing again. And push your hands into the floor. Your eyes can stay closed. Coming to sit, and your head is heavy to begin with. Let it just be heavy as your hands walk back towards your legs. Remove the pillows. Maybe put one underneath your seat. Coming to a comfortable cross-legged position with your hands resting heavily on your thighs or knees. Sit bones grounding, and crown of your head reaches. And place one hand on your heart and the other hand on your baby again. Taking a moment to send love in your own way to your baby. And also acknowledging the good work you're doing as you continue practicing yoga throughout pregnancy. And also adjusting the practice and honoring the changes that happen in your body.
As you practice taking both care of yourself and your baby. And then bring your palms together in front of your heart. Blinking your eyes open next time you exhale. Thanks for practicing. Namaste.